I have students, colleagues, friends ask me how you're going to survive all this AI transition or this AI shift, Lois. Big moment of transition, like there is massive hype. I would like to share some perspective here that I have where I did shift from different roles, like working initially just with on-premises resources, later focusing more on these cloud technology. This shift is happening, but when we look back, even when cloud was coming, some people they were concerned that cloud technologies would take their job because we wouldn't have more data centers, all that massive setup with infrastructure. I was part of this workforce. I was working with servers, installing massive hacks, doing all that configuration. I got myself wondering a lot of times, like, all right, now with all this cloud transition, probably I will lose my job. But then something interesting happened. I heard someone talking this concept of that Einstein did share in the past, that how you see the world as a friendly universe or something that is not good, that will cause harm to you. I kind of by accident like chose this option to see the world as friendly. And that happened with this cloud computing space. When I did the transition, and that was my second or third experience here in Australia, and I should say second, third because I always forget. The first one was so terrible, working on a MSP company for 2 weeks, and the MSP owner decided to fire me. This back in 2018. Okay, that experience is gone from my resume and LinkedIn. Sometimes I get really confused, like second or third, so I will say and keep it here with my second experience. That was working on a local government agency here in Australia. When I joined this company, there were two systems engineers very experienced there, and that was my previous background, systems administrator slash systems engineer. What I realized when I joined there, I had just one certification in cloud computing. I was studying, trying to understand more this area, and I was really willing to learn, to embrace, and even because I didn't have too many options. One was because I was new here to this country, and I realized really early on in my career, when you develop a technical edge, like with a new emerging tool or emerging technology. And I didn't notice recruiters when I was going through the interviews, they were always asking about the certification that they would see on cloud technologies, even though I didn't have like all the proficiency to speak about it, to share previous experiences, but they were interested on that. So I started evolving in that space, like developing more skills, more competence to talk during the interviews, and eventually I landed this job. But then during this job, those two systems engineers, they were very experienced. However, they were trying to keep things on premises, like in the data center. That was the reason that they decided to bring me in, a brand new guy that was interested in cloud computing, that had a brand new certification, and they did fire those two systems engineers there, unfortunately. 2 years later, some of them did reach me out, like to get into this cloud space, and he's doing really well now. But that was the story, like they didn't embrace, and that will lead me to the first point that I have here. Number one is treat AI as a teammate. And you may say, but hey, Lois, sometimes it doesn't work well, get some hallucinations, some of the answers don't feel correct. And let me ask you a question. Have you ever worked with someone in your team that didn't provide the right answers, that sometimes came up with some things that didn't make too much sense? Here's the deal. AI is evolving as well. Like your ability to coach, to talk with AI, to try to interact, that will make a huge difference for you. And I'm totally on board on this. Sometimes I know that doesn't work very well. It's not perfect. But when we look at the industry, Meta recently announced that during the interviews, software engineers, developers, they will be allowed to use AI during their interviews. If we are not embracing, and I see some people talking that, hey, Lois, doesn't work well, yet it's similar to cloud computing in the past. And I'm afraid that these people, they will struggle like during this transition to AI. And those engineers that really embrace the usage of AI, they will succeed. Because the challenge comes from this resistance. It's not working well, kind of complaining, stewing around the challenge instead of looking, oh, okay, all right, how I can make a better prompter here, like, or how I can maybe try to set a better context. Can I upload my project files? Like how I can work on that. And that will make a huge difference in your career if you shift that perspective that it's there to threat you. It's something that is friendly, that will help you in the future and will help you to succeed in your career. Hint number 2 is systems thinking. As AI becomes more integrated into cloud solutions, the ability to see the big picture is crucial. You need to understand how different components, compute, storage, networking, and security, and AI on top of that, how they work together to create scalable and efficient systems. It's not just about engineering isolated systems. When we work for enterprises, we need to think on the different components, how that solution will communicate with the overall architecture that we already have in place. Rarely you are going to deploy a new solution in an enterprise that's isolated. You are going to interact with other systems. You need to think on that communication from a holistic point of view. First, to engineer that, to plan how that will work. And here comes a lot of systems design as well, concepts like how you think on that interactions of systems, what components should be used, and that will help you to not only architect and design properly the system, but also to troubleshoot that issue. Because we all face challenges when we have a massive rollout of a new solution. We work with vendors, we work with different teams. There are so many moving pieces that sometimes it's easy, a specific part of the system is not working, but it can be because another dependency is being missed or was forgotten, some manual deployment, and that was not covered like in the whole automation. Having that capacity to think like holistic on all the systems components and having eyes bird view, that will really help you to move ahead in this industry and succeed. And if you don't have that experience, best way to get that is getting exposed to real-world projects, networking the industry to understand what people are doing. Here we have a training that we teach people on those systems and how everything glues together. But it's crucial that you start having that intention to develop that skill, not only survive in this AI world, but thrive. Number 3, collaboration and influence. AI and cloud engineering aren't solo sports. You will be working across cross-functional teams, data scientists, developers, leadership, and even non-technical stakeholders. Your ability to communicate complex ideas clearly, build trust, and influence decisions will set you apart. The best engineers don't just execute, they lead through collaboration. And the way that you are going to build this influence and how you are going to deal with these different stakeholders and teams is building trust through consistency and transparency. You are working on a project that you have committed different outcomes. You are going to document that in a Confluence page, for instance, where you can define like what are the steps that you are going to take. Some people wait for project managers to do that for them. I realize that if you can take the lead on that to really show what you're going to work on, or if it's your manager or team lead building that, if you can collaborate, even to alleviate the cognitive load on that person that is working on that, that will be very helpful. And keeping them up to date, like with the work that's being done, and maybe there are different ways in the company that they're going to manage that using Jira boards. Maybe they are running Agile. It's really good for you to be known as someone that executes and is committed to communicate with other stakeholders, because other people may be waiting on a component that you're going to deploy. And that will help you to not only have this well structured, but also will help you to frame your communication around outcomes and next steps. So when you go to a meeting, you can say, here's what we have accomplished, here what's next, and here is where I need your input. And that will set you as a great team player. Collaboration will be very important in this AI age. The fourth item will be related to some of the issues that we see in the industry, people talking about. That AI will break deployments, it will make deployments fail, it will cause audits, and we are going to be brought in to resolve issues. And that's number 4. Resilience and problem solving under pressure. When AI break the systems, you are going to jump in to resolve. Let's face it, at least in the next 5 years, cloud engineering can be high stakes. When systems go down or deployment fails, your ability to stay calm, troubleshoot effectively, and rally your team is everything. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about thriving in uncertainty and seeing challenge as opportunities. Because isn't true, if you have a major outage, major production issue, you have that feeling that you know the answer, like you have developed that mastery and you are there at service to contribute with the business. You can raise your hand. Those are the engineers, in my opinion, that are really going to demonstrate courage when they're not 100% sure, but maybe they have 6%, like Jeff Bezos of Amazon, that would tell that they make decisions once they hit that threshold. And that should be similar to us. I believe that when we mix all these 4 ingredients, that will be a kind of a formula for a long-term career in this cloud engineering space or any tech role that is in high demand, that's growing, and that you are looking for. And by the way, if you want to help to accelerate your career in this cloud engineering area, please look in the link below to grab my Cloud Career Playbook that will teach you the major concepts in cloud engineering, in Microsoft Azure, that's the major vendor that I work on, and that will serve you. If this helped you, do me a favor, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss any of the strategies I share to help you grow faster, smarter, and with more confidence in tech. Thanks for watching. Keep learning, keep building, and I will see you in the next one.